Yeah, it's much nicer down there now.
Oh, thank you very much. I would tell you, I know you mentioned Russ Medical Center before. When the architect first brought me the design of the kitchen, I actually gave it back to him and asked him if he'd ever worked in a kitchen before.
Actually, that
the flow
cafeteria
was terrible.
It was a pretty grim place to eat, really.
It was, but now it's much better, hopefully. So as we looked at post-2008, we still have a department lean team. It's going strong. It's made up of all of our hourly employees. They are able to join the committee. And they really keep it going strong, and we do have the lean team at every single site now. We also did a Greenbelt project in 2010 with our newfound knowledge, in which we really looked at waste coming through our production area. That's really where the chefs and the cooks really produce our food, and we were able to find $60,000 that we could save by just refining some of our processes. We use metrics to really guide our business, not only for the management team such as myself, but really also for our hourly staff, so that they're able to look at the numbers and say, this is what kind of a day I'm going to have, or I'm going to have, and make changes in their production or their processes to accommodate. We have department scorecards. We did a room service scorecard because it was kind of a new item for us. We actually track things like our cost of our trays, the speed of our trays. We also do lean audits, both quarterly, and we also do 6S audits in some of the smaller areas, like our storerooms. We actually do track our tray line delivery times, our phone queues, our operator efficiency, as well as our runner tray counts, which is really the person running those trays up in the hospital. I want to know how fast and efficient they are, or if they're still getting lost in the hospital. It's a big place, so I need to figure out how we can help you be a little faster.
How do you measure that one? The runner tray?
We have something called tray monitoring, which I absolutely adore. It ties into our computer program. Our computer program will take a call. Let's say Rick's upstairs and he decided that he is just exhausted, and because process excellence worked him really hard, and he needs some rest. So he's upstairs. He calls down and he orders breakfast just like he got here today, and he is able to place that order. The computer ties it into his diet order that his physician gave him, making sure that it's compliant with whatever the physician said he could or could not have. And then it also populates on a computer screen at our line. We get a ticket, so we know what to put on the tray, but our expediter now sees what's supposed to be going up, how fast it's moving. We have visual cues tied in so that we know how fast or how slow it's taking to cook the food, then to put it in a cart. How fast do I need to get somebody, hey, this tray needs to go up to Rick upstairs, and then how fast did it come down. And then the computer fortunately does all the math for me so I can see how quick and efficient these folks are. It's also very nice, so if a patient, sometimes it seems like it's been 2 hours and it's only been about 20 minutes to get a tray, we can actually look in real time and find out where the tray is and where it is actually in the system. Nursing can actually look it up too without even calling us, because they have a computer monitor up in every single one of their areas as well.
What has your error rate been in the beginning and toward the end?
In our first error rate that we were really tracking was to see if we could achieve the 30 to 45 minute time window. And when we first started, we were probably about 50 minutes, 55 sometimes. Now, I know at the end of 2012, here at Press Downtown, we average 35 minutes to deliver a tray, and at Russ Medical Center, it's 25 minutes.
So you didn't have Zometric serving the correct item order? That was never a problem?
Tray accuracy, I don't have that. It's not such a huge error that we were tracking before. We are starting to track it now just to see how many times we're getting those calls, but that's still relatively new based on the 2008. We don't get very many of them, but what we really wanted to see was, how long people abandon calls was really more the one that we were focused on. If I have everybody calling at once, like on Friday morning, everybody calls about the same time. It's really odd. On Monday, it's stretched out. Sunday, it's really stretched out. But on Friday morning, they all call about 7 o'clock, all 200 patients. So we wanted to know patients were calling and I'd say, no, forget it, I'm gonna call later, and getting frustrated with that. So right now, our service level, when we first started that, we were very good. We actually had a dismal service level of probably, I think it was at 30%, and we've been able to improve it since then to 83%. Our goal is to be similar to Russ Medical Center. They're at a 92, 93%. So we don't like to be outdone, so we're going to see if we can do it just as well.
How do you batch them? How do you batch them going up? Because I see you guys in the elevators all the time.
Yeah.
And you can't go up with just one wheel.
Actually, you could. As I mentioned to you, we have a screen right at our trade line area. And we have what we call an expediter. We actually call it the Great Oz, the Great Wizard of Oz. And their goal is to manage both lines and to manage what's in front of them. So they can see how many trays we have in the queue, how many trays are being prepared by our cooks, how many trays are in the carts, and how long they've been there. The actual tray monitor will actually have little squares to indicate each tray, and they'll turn colors. We put a timer on them, so if they're sitting too long, it'll change yellow. Oh, pay attention, you're in trouble. And if it's red, move, get something, figure out what's going on and get them set. So as the expediter, you're really looking to see how you can expedite those trays. If I have only one tray, which can happen around 10 a.m., breakfast generally is over for most people, but for some people, that's when they like to eat.
Or they've had a test and they've just.
Or they've had a test, exactly, and they've now returned to the room. Oftentimes you return to the room and there's your breakfast sitting there. How long's it been there? It's cold.
Yeah.
So now you can get it nice and hot, exactly what you are feeling like. And so they will look at that and decide as an expediter, do I send one tray at a time? Do I send them in the cart? We put no more than 6 trays in a cart and then we move them. It's actually much better to move them very quickly than to feel like you want to put as many trays as possible in the cart. We want that to be actually a little bit faster than that for temperature purposes. Yes, ma'am.
What if the person in the room audits orders something that they're not supposed to have?
Actually, our computer program will catch it. The diet order from a physician interfaces with our computer program. And so the things that are non-compliant to your diet, that was actually part of our build for our computer process. So it catches that. We also have really good diet aides that really know their diets, and they're able to try and help you perhaps find something that's more appropriate. Even though you really want that green chili cheeseburger with fries on your cardiac diet, it's probably not the best thing for you. So we'll try and work through that with you.
Do the doctors actually have to write, this patient should not have butter or something?
They put you on a specific diet, and that diet is, I guess, very general for each of us, for each department, so we all know what that really means. So based on a cardiac diet, you can have these things, but not those things.
Okay.
So they choose that, and whatever the doctor says is the rule. So until I get that, those are like my walking papers. So some of the other things that we track is our cafeteria count and our transactions. Actually, that's something that's really very new. We've actually been able to really take some of our lean knowledge and try and figure out if there's any rhyme or reason to some of the things that we did. And I know recently we've actually learned quite a bit, and we're able to change some of our scheduling with our new coffee shop to make sure that we have the right amount of people, because evidently we didn't. So we kind of shifted gears with that. And then we actually use our daily communication boards and our huddle boards. As I told you, we did a lot of communication. I like communication. I'm kind of a talkative kind of a person. But we were also asked to try these new communication boards by Process Excellence. And I will tell you that these took lean and helped us take it to the next level, I feel. Because we were able to take information and share it with every single employee. No matter what you were doing in the moment when we had a huddle, you could come back and refer to this board and instantly know what kind of a day you were going to have today. So it also focuses a lot of the initiatives that we might have as a department or as the hospital has as a department. We track performance, and we're also able to engage members of our team many of what you see, and I know it might be difficult, like right down here, we have the actual census for the hospital. The actual census on that particular day was 387. So as a cook, I'm able to think, okay, that's a little bit lower than what I'm used to. I'm used to 450, so I'm going to have a little bit of a quieter day. Or our food service workers that are in the dish room could see that, according to this, there were 727 tickets for room service generated yesterday. So that meant we were a little bit slower, and so I can kind of get an idea of how much equipment is still trying to trickle down into the department. I know one day we were at 879, and I think the record was actually 1,007. And so they knew how busy they were going to be. Or if I wasn't here yesterday and I felt that my area wasn't as stocked as I thought it should have been, I'm able to look at this and go, wow, 1,007, they were swamped. Oh my gosh, no wonder the work didn't get done yesterday. Now I see what kind of
Do
work
you
is
staff based on that number?